Hi, I'm Rosalee.
And I'm Sarah.
We are the Plumb Collective. Welcome to Plum Practice. We're so glad you're here. We call this session the mirror because it is a way to see yourself from new perspectives, to connect deeply with who you really are.
The purpose of plum practice is to quiet the external noise so we can notice what's actually going on inside. Then we take the words that are inside us and we get them out by either writing or using verbal journaling to catch the words that are in our inner experience. Not the words that we think we should be thinking or feeling, but the words that are actually right there, the true words.
Each session of Plum Practice starts with a sensory experience.
We call it a sensuization because it's an opportunity to sense you in this quiet space where you can invite your imagination in. There's nothing you need to do during the sensuization except listen and notice any thoughts or feelings that come up inside of you. If nothing comes up, that's actually totally okay. There's nothing that's supposed to happen or that should happen or that needs to happen or even that we want to happen. It's really a neutral space to allow things to unfold that might unfold. The next part of plum practice is for self expression. The point is to catch whatever words are in your inner experience right now. One tool that we use to express ourselves is writing. Writing the words down is a way to catch them. You can also do what we call verbal journaling, where you speak the words aloud and you catch them by recording them using your phone's camera or voice note feature. We provide a starting point. All you have to do is let the words come out. What you write or say doesn't need to make any sense at all. You can just write or say whatever words are right there without thinking about it. The purpose is to catch whatever words are right there. The third part of plum practice is for witnessing.
We create space during the session for you to witness yourself and also for you to witness us witnessing each other. Sarah and I share our writing aloud and we witness each other in every session.
Our conversation ends up feeling kind of like a podcast, but it's a podcast that you participated in by doing your own writing, starting from the same point and expressing yourself. We think that is a really unique experience and something that makes plum practice really special. Before you get started with the sensory experience, you'll want to have with you the tool that you're going to use for self-expression. You'll want to have a notebook and a pen. If you're going to use verbal journaling as your method of self-expression, make sure you have your phone or some other way to record your words so that you're catching them. In this session, our timer for self-expression will be set for 10 minutes to give you a taste of what plum practice is all about. Within the membership, we usually use 20 minutes as our time for self-expression.
We are so glad you're here with us exploring plum practice. There is no right way to do this. There's no wrong way to do this. However you do plum practice is the way to do it for you.
We invite you to check out our website, theplumbcollective.com, and connect with us on social media. Take a moment to get as comfortable and supported as possible. You can sit or recline as you listen to this recording. Grab a blanket if you want. If you want to close your eyes now or at any point along the way, you can do that. If what I'm saying doesn't connect to you, that is okay. Be with whatever thoughts, feelings, and sensations are coming up for you, even if they feel unrelated to this guided experience. Take a moment now to remove and release any energy that is not yours. Any energy from other people, places, or things that you may have picked up during your day. You can imagine that every time you exhale, any energy that is not yours leaves on the current of your breath. Now it's time to let your imagination in. Start by asking the senses of your imagination to show you a marble. Ask your senses to perceive this marble. Now go to the top of your head. Ask the senses of your imagination to perceive a small opening, a place where the marble can drop in, like a coin into a slot. This is where the game can begin. Do you want to play? If you don't feel like playing right now for any reason, that is okay. You can observe this experience at whatever level you have access to, or you can stop the recording now and come back another time. Do whatever is best for you in this moment. If you do want to play, see if you can connect to playful anticipation as the marble drops in. Sense the marble's momentum as it begins to roll. Sense the marble roll from its starting point through your body. What path does it take? Where does it go? Does it spiral? Is it fast or slow? Does it roll smoothly? Do you notice any resistance? Notice and observe as the marble rolls. Now that you're familiar with the game, let's begin again at the top of your head. This time, as you put the marble into the slot, it will roll to a place inside that wants to be seen in this moment. You don't have to know where it's going to end up or why it ends up there. Just follow the marble's path and notice where it wants to stop. When you're ready, put the marble in. Notice and observe as the marble moves. When the marble stops moving, notice where it is. Allow your attention to zoom into this point. Explore here with your senses. What do you notice? Explore here with your feelings. What do you observe? Now, ask this point, what do you want me to know? Listen for the answer with your senses. What do you want me to know? Listen for the answer with your feelings. What do you want me to know? Allow any thoughts, feelings, or sensations to come up as you sense and feel into this point. If nothing comes up, that is okay. Be with whatever is happening for you in this moment, even if it is nothing. Take a moment now to release whatever you were experiencing. You can shift your position, shake out your hands, or do whatever you need to do in this moment. Open your eyes if you're ready to do that. Pause the recording if you need a moment to reorient yourself to your physical space. As you prepare to express yourself, remember that what you write or speak aloud doesn't need to make any sense at all. You can just write or say whatever words are right there without thinking about it. Let the words come out and catch them. The self-expression is for you and for you only. No one ever has to see or hear it. It doesn't have to be any good. Let the words flow. Here is something to start with. You can start here or with something else that's standing out to you. What am I thinking, sensing, or feeling right now? There is no right or wrong way to do this. Write or speak any words that are right there when you start with the question, what am I thinking, sensing, or feeling right now? You can continue to let this recording play, and I'll let you know when 10 minutes are up. spend 10 minutes. You can take a moment to finish your thought if needed. Shift and adjust your body. I'll pause for a few moments for you to shift and settle. Now it's time to read or listen to your words back to yourself. As you read or listen, do so as a witness to yourself. Notice any thoughts, sensations, feelings, or anything else that comes up. I'll let you know when a few minutes have passed. Especially if you're listening to yourself, you can pause the recording if you need more time. Now we're going to write or verbally journal again for just a few minutes. After witnessing your own experience, see what comes up in response to this question. What was bold to you when you read yourself? We call this our bread, the bold thing that you read. Your bread isn't meant to be an explanation or figuring something out. Simply notice what stood out to you when you read or heard your words. Your bread might be a single word or several sentences. What was bold to you when you read yourself? I'll let you know when a few minutes have passed. It's been a few minutes. You can finish your thought, and then it's time to be done. Now we are going to move into the witnessing part of Plum practice, where we will read our writing aloud and witness each other's writing. This conversation is for us, and it's also for you. When we read our writing, we read it in a special order. We read our bread first. That's the few minutes of writing we just did. Then we read the meat of our writing. That's the 10 minutes of writing. Then we read the bread again. We call this a sandwich. Bread, meat, bread. As you listen to our sandwiches, it's okay to listen as an observer, watching and hearing what's going on from the surface. There is also the opportunity to listen more deeply as a witness. If you listen as a witness, listen for yourself. Notice how you feel and what you sense as you hear our words. Follow your imagination if it comes in. Take note of phrases or words that stand out to you if you want.
I'm going to start with my bread first. I wrote this for me. I need these words, my true words. They connect together and form sentences. Sentences for me to stand on, solid. What I believe about who I am and who I could be. You know, you've always known. How you see and what you see is yours, uniquely yours. Other people can contribute or they can complicate. They can provide contrast or add something new, but they don't get to define or declare what you know to be true, how you feel, what you experienced comes from you. No one will have all of the context or all of the backstory that you have. No one will see it from the exact same angle you see it from. If you believe them more than you believe yourself, it will feel wrong, hollow, not quite right, bad, funky, and more. You might feel sad, mad, bad. Go a little deeper. Is it yours? Or are you believing the words someone else used more than your own? Are you shoulding yourself? Are you defending yourself? Are you explaining yourself? To who? Use their reflections to deepen what you believe, what you know, the words that feel true to you. It is that deep. It is worth reading into it. Your feelings are worth it. You are worth it. Your feelings, your thoughts, your words, they are the keys to your future. They are also the keys to your past. Your words in the present moment unlock the doors and cages, past and future. These words, the words that are right here, the words you are catching in this moment, free you. They free you now, but it's hard to see when you're in them. They free past versions of you that have been held back, trapped, stuck, and left. They also free what could be. They open doors in the future and show you the steps to take to be who you know you can be. I wrote this for me. I need these words, my true words. They connect together and form sentences. Sentences for me to stand on, solid. What I believe about who I am and who I could be.
Is there anything you want to say after reading?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I loved it. This felt so universal to me. I could hear you speaking to everyone. And then I could also hear you speaking to you. And I could also hear you speaking to me. What you wrote felt like a beautiful call to action to do this practice. And I also look forward to being able to see the words because I could feel them. My experience of it was waves. It felt like reassurance and encouragement washing over, and not in a crashing, ocean pounding sort of way, but in a really gentle, incremental way. I don't know that I have anything more to say to that, but I want to hear about your experience in reading it and writing it.
Well, thank you so much. I think my bread was very much declaring, oh, this is for you. Because I think if I would have read it without the bread, it would have sounded maybe like I was saying it for someone else because I'm using you.
Mhm.
But I really was writing it to myself. And then when I read it back, I was like, exactly that this feels like a universal message. This is for everyone. When I'm reading it, it's for everyone. But when I wrote it, it's for me.
Yeah. And that feels like the creation of the Plum Collective. We created everything that we created for us. And then we are inviting others into it. And that feels like exactly it. And it reminds me of what we said last week and what we've been saying all along, in that we're not positioning ourselves as experts. We're positioning ourselves as humans in the human experience, participating in things that are helpful to us. I had this moment at the beginning because I heard your bread and I heard you say, "This is for me." And I had this moment of shifting the way I was listening to you, because I was listening to it as for you. And then I was like, oh, no, no, no. It's also for me. It felt like a physical shift of listening for myself. How many times have we said that in these various Plum practice sessions? But I think there has been some kind of partial wall, invisible wall there when I listen, that I don't think I've been fully listening for myself. And that's okay. It's not like I've been doing it wrong. It just feels like all throughout life, there's always adjustments that we can be making and ways that we can do things more fully. And I think I had a moment of realizing I can listen more fully. I can witness someone else more fully.
I think this writing is a culmination of a lot of things. We've had a lot of really interesting conversations this past week, and I think positionally, you're in a new position inside of yourself. And I think that's really what this writing is talking about, is that if we all human beings could connect to our perspective is our position, but we think that what other people are saying about us, or we're concerned about what other people think about us, or what they're saying about us, or how they feel about us, which is understandable, but that doesn't take precedent over what we think about ourselves, what we feel about ourselves, what we say about ourselves. And it's the shift in that position that if you're over there focused on other people externally, everything's going to feel a little bit hollow, a little bit off, a little bit not quite right, a little bit not it. But when you can connect to, oh, I know, because I was there and I felt this way. And it's my perspective, it's my point of view, it's my position that has the whole story. And then everybody else has different facets. They have different angles. It's the whole disco ball. But my experience is the clearest, truest reflection of myself that there ever could be. When I start to feel funky is because I'm putting more weight or more importance on some external thing. It might be an actual person that you can identify, but it might just be society, might be an idea of what a good person would do or should feel or should think. It might be really vague and something that has been just taught and indoctrinated and intentionally separated ourselves, from that position of really knowing. What happened for me during the sensitization, the marble went to above and to the left of my belly button was where I felt the marble. It was when you asked the question, what do you want me to know? The answer that I felt was, you know. Like, you know, and you've always known. That's why I started meat of my writing with, you know, you've always known. How you see and what you see is yours, uniquely yours.
That's beautiful. And all the while that you were talking, my experience was of those waves again. I was just thinking about that, and how when we're giving more attention to other people's opinions, thoughts, beliefs, that's actually the waves that are like the ocean pounding sort of waves coming in, crashing on you. And that when you feel funky, that's a signal that your attention is, like you said, somewhere else outside of you, not inside of you. I'm just intrigued by this visual of the waves and the difference between what this outside external opinions and thoughts and feelings feels like versus listening to this universal message that had a similar wave experience for me, but it was gentle.
For me, my sensory experience of it is not maybe water related, but more the feeling of being knocked off balance. Like somebody
Okay.
say something in a certain tone or being mean, like intentionally being mean, trying to be like, no, you're wrong about your mother. You don't know. Intellectually, I can go, it's my mother. I lived with her. You are a stranger on the internet. You don't know what you're talking. This is not even, you're talking about something else, or you're concerned about your own life or your mother or your mothering of someone or whatever. I know that all of that intellectually, but occasionally something somebody says feels like it knocks me off balance from this solid, I know who I am, where I am, what I want, how I feel. I've got it. It can catch me off guard where I just am then off of that point. And so if I'm off of that point, that's the signal of asking myself the specific questions that I asked. Am I defending myself? Am I thinking it should be some other way? Am I believing somebody else's words over my own? That off balance feeling or that more violent, chaotic kind of wave sensation is the signal to check in with yourself and go, okay, what? Take a pause, take a rest, step out of the conversation, take a moment for yourself and go, okay, what's happening here? Because this off kilter, this funky, not it thing is telling me something. That's the contrast to how I actually want to feel or how I do feel if I'm just on my own. If I'm on my own, I feel pretty good. I'm happy or I feel content or things are okay. Even if they're hard, they're okay. But if something is really activating me, it's often, I don't want to say always, but I feel like I'm pretty sure I could say always, is because of that off balance where I just am not in my position with myself. I'm somewhere shifted off closer to believing something else someone said or something else that, oh, should I should be oh. And it's in that sort of questioning or confusion that signals to me that I'm not within myself. I'm not plumb inside of myself.
Yeah. Love it. And that makes me feel like I get now my wave analogy way more because, yeah, what do pounding ocean waves do but knock you off balance? And then my experience of listening to your writing, feeling because you are external to me, your words are external to me, they're still waves, but they felt like gentle lapping waves of reassurance and encouragement. And that's a different thing.
Why I think it feels different is because I declared for myself in the breath that this is for me. These words are true. This is it. So I am plumb. I'm putting a rock in the ocean. And then the ripple is going out
Yes.
from me to you. And it's gently guiding you back to yourself. It's contributing to you. And the wave isn't crashing into you. It's like circling and encompassing you and ushering you back into yourself. Ooh,
Yeah, that's beautiful. Love it.
me too.
Oh,
When I said that other people can contribute or they can complicate, we're
yeah.
contributing. This is a contributing conversation. And then depending on your position, if you think I'm full of shit or you think that this is, you're reading too much into it and you need to just get over it, move on and whatever, that's crashing in, that's making it more confusing. It's complicating it. It's pulling away from the feeling that's happening. If you're only used to connecting with other people through complaints and through controversy and conflict and all of that, my gentle, warm, encompassing energy might feel bad. And that's okay. That's what's happening over there. I don't then have to explain myself or reach out more or do more. No, these words are true for me. I need them for me, and I'm standing on them for me, and I'm willing to share them with you. You don't have to believe them. I'm not making you believe them. But if you find yourself inside of my circles and you feel the ripples pulling you back in towards yourself, if you want to resist it and splash and flail around, okay, but that's not going to change or impact my ripple effect. It's just going to cause some funky stuff over there where you are. But if I'm where I am, then my ripples are my ripples.
This is a great analogy.
Yeah. And it feels really good because I've felt it and I've shared this ripple and the positional thing so many times in so many ways. But now I feel like I have, because of your contribution to me and our conversations, I feel like I can say it clearer and faster and more precise than I ever have before.
Love it. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I feel complete. Thank you. I'm excited to hear your writing.
Yeah, this is the bread. Being plumb is as simple as breathing. If I can notice I'm breathing, I can notice if I'm plumb. If I can remember to breathe, I can connect to myself. In my throat, there was a spiral. It looked like a galaxy in motion, spinning, spiraling. When I breathe in, the center point of the spiral descends into my chest. When I exhale, the center point ascends into the top of my head. This is an interesting visual. I'm so intrigued by it, I keep pausing my writing. That's okay. You can come back to it anytime. Back to the writing, back to the visual. Back and forth, in and out. What do you need to keep moving? Breathing is moving. To find stillness, there is stillness in every breath. At the bottom of the inhale, when the point rests at the center of my chest. This is how I feel. This is where I feel. This is the location of the answer to the question, how do I feel? There is stillness at the top of the exhale when the point rests at the top of my head. This is what I want. This is the location of the answer to the question, what do I want? The point slides along this line, my plumb line, in pace with my breath, pausing at what I feel, pausing at what I want. This is happening always, even when I'm asleep. Being plumb, being in alignment with who I really am, is as simple as noticing my breath, following the point as it slides along my plumb line. Every inhale is an opportunity to connect to what I feel. Every exhale is an opportunity to connect to what I want. Being plumb is as simple as breathing. If I can notice I'm breathing, I can notice if I'm plumb. If I can remember to breathe, I can connect to myself. And that is all.
Do you want to say anything?
I felt like as I was reading, there was something I was questioning, was realizing that I answered the question, what do you need? But then I heard you say in your writing, what do you want me to know? I think was what was in the sensitization. So realizing that, like, I think I answered the wrong question or I focused on the wrong question, and then being like, so what? That was the question that was available, or that came to me as I was writing. And it's okay that it was a different question.
It's just a turn of the same question. Maybe you don't quite know. Maybe you need something before you can know. And that also feels really cool. I loved the visual of the spiral and it moving up and down, and then also thinking of it as something that happens while we're sleeping felt really interesting and new to me. And also this feeling of positional, this feeling of really connecting with yourself, and that it is something that happens incrementally over time. And this feels like maybe a disclaimer, but Sarah and I have been writing and practicing Plum practice and using the Plum process for years now. This is something that we are not positioning ourselves as experts, but we have a lot of practice. This particular writing, each of our writing, maybe can feel like, oh, well, I didn't write like that. I wrote something else, or I wrote a diary entry, or I wrote something that makes no sense, or something that's really conceptual, or something that is not good. You could be having a lot of different thoughts and feelings about the writing that came out of any particular Plum practice. And this particular one, because of so many factors, that's why our writing was the kind of writing that we wrote today. And that in other sessions, doesn't make sense, it's conceptual, it's weird, it's strange, or it's funny, or it's silly. Any present moment that you're in, any mood that you're in, how much resistance you have or don't have, how you're feeling. There's sessions where I am experiencing a lot of physical pain. I'm not maybe as able to be connected to my intuition or as free flowing with my words as I was today. It's all good and it's all okay. And all of those previous writings that weren't any good or feel weird or feel disconnected or disjointed or don't make any sense were so important and valuable. And we know it because we have experienced it, and we can look back on it and go, oh, I couldn't have gotten here if I didn't have that weird thing or that strange thing or that thing that didn't make any sense. Now it makes sense. And why we really like having a dedicated notebook or having our audio files in one spot or being organized with how we do these practices is because we can go back in time. We can time travel and go, oh, I said that, I wrote that, I predicted that, or I was feeling something. The ripple thing for me has been something that I have felt for a very, very, very long time. And I've described it in different ways, and it's just not ever felt quite like I'm saying exactly what it feels like. Like I couldn't give the words to express it to someone else exactly how I feel it. But today I got the closest I've ever gotten, and it feels pretty spot on to how it has always felt. But I just had the words today. Maybe you don't have the words today, or maybe the words today will make sense tomorrow or next week or next year. That's part of the self-trust and part of the spiral and part of the feeling that moves up and down is an in and out. It's always in motion. And I think as humans, we have this misconception that we can pin it down. And that once we know it forever, and it's done and it's over, and I moved on from it and I learned that lesson and I am healed. And it's like, well, that's not really how it works. It's always in motion. It's back and forth and in and out and up and down and side to side. That's actually the human experience.
Whatever anybody writes during this session of Plum practice, there's the opportunity, if you want to do the next session in this series, to witness this writing again or listen to yourself again, and then do another entry from there. And something might ping you from this particular writing that leads you in a different direction. It's like you needed this stepping stone to take you there. And maybe that's also going to feel disjointed and doesn't make any sense. But then you do it again, and maybe the next time it feels like you got something to hold on to. I do believe that doing this process, taking these leapfrog steps forward, moving through this Plum process, that you will find yourself with things to hold on to, with gems in your hands, with sentences to stand on. And that trusting the process is something that you can learn to do as you do it if you give it a chance.
The exciting thing about the Plum Practice membership is that all of our sessions have been recorded and posted in order. If you wanted to go through and explore the journey with us in the order that we practiced and expressed to get to this point, you could. You could see the full journey. That's really cool to be able to witness our writing evolve and shift and change. What came before contributes to what is in this present moment. That's really special. We have a library of sensuizations and recordings for us to go back to as well.
Yep. And that each Plum Practice session is a point on our storyline, and that people who join our membership or engage in the Plum process create their own storyline. Your storyline is always happening, whether or not you're documenting it or recording it, but there is great benefit to documenting and recording it so that you can time travel. You can see where you were and see how far you've come. I really enjoyed this session. I enjoyed witnessing your writing and being with you today.
Thank you so much for this conversation and for sharing your words with me.
We also want to express gratitude for anyone who is listening and participating in this session of Plum Practice. It means a lot to us to know that you're here. This session of Plum Practice is now complete. You had the opportunity to sense yourself, to express yourself, to witness yourself. This process provides a mirror that can guide you incrementally toward getting to know yourself more fully. Your writing is a record of where you were today in this present moment. You can revisit your writing and see where you were anytime. You can read yourself. You can witness yourself. You can know yourself more fully. You can come back to this recording of Plum Practice anytime. The recording will be the same, but you will be different, and therefore you will have a different experience. You may see something new. You may connect to yourself in a new way. We invite you to come back again and again and experience this recording of Plum Practice from wherever you are, whatever mood you're in, whatever is going on for you. In coming back, in writing again, you will have more records of where you are, points on your path. Over time, the points may connect. A clearer and clearer image of you can develop.